Hey everybody, this is Pooja Chilukuri, your host for Be Made Whole. This is a show where we talk about all things health and wellness. Today's guest, I'm very excited to have with me a dear friend and colleague, Robin Thomas. Robin is a lifestyle coach and a community leader in holistic health and wellness. Robin worked for 25 years in medical research at UNC, studying inflammation in chronic and autoimmune diseases. She began her own wellness business with USANA Health Sciences in 2004 and founded the Living Well Connections community in 2015. Robin is dedicated to helping women stop feeling powerless about their health by guiding them through ways to get started with healthy habits with support of nutritional supplements from USANA. Welcome to the show, Robin.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here with you, Pooja.
I'm excited. I get to ask you questions. Yes. And so my first question is, tell us a little bit about your journey from doing medical research to being a leader in holistic health and wellness.
It's been quite a journey. I mean, sometimes how your life, like you're going along and you think this is it, and this is what I'm going to be doing. And then life hits you, sidelines you. And you have to pivot, you have to change. A lot of people have had to do that the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, years ago, I loved the research and I loved working with the patients in the clinics, in the hospital, research hospital I was working in. I got to really see the face of what people were going through when they were going through autoimmune diseases. It was very touching to me. At the same time, I have two sons, and one of my sons has 2, maybe 3 autoimmune diseases.
Mm-hmm.
So I was living it also at home. Unfortunately, he became very ill at about 10 or 11 years old, and we needed to pull him out of school and homeschool him. So at that point, I started learning everything I could about how to help him health-wise. And looking beyond the general allopathic medicine that I had been trained, I mean, not as a doctor, but that was my community, allopathic medicine. So it really opened my eyes, and starting my wellness business was, I wanted to give back. I wanted to help and share that with others. Yeah. And so starting that opened my eyes even more, because I met more people. You know how you meet someone and then suddenly you meet someone else, and more ideas of different things we can do to help our own health.
Yes. And there is a saying, the wounded person sometimes can become the best healer, right? Like, you've walked the walk. You can help us with things, these little everyday struggles and challenges that sometimes, frankly, the doctors don't even have the time to do that kind of a deep dive, right? And if you've not lived it.
And it doesn't have to be done, boom, all at once. I mean, if you just start small, with some small habits, they can be so meaningful.
Do you have, can you help us with some little tips that, if somebody's just, I know we don't even have to have autoimmune, right? There are so many chronic symptoms that we're walking around with, and overall, I talk to people and I just see overall health just breaking down, and earlier and earlier.
I have a mother who's 96.
Yeah.
And I think that basis of when she grew up, they were eating lots of fresh vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how she grew up through the Depression. So they grew their own food. That's how they got their food. But that ended up being the best for her. Yeah.
Yeah. So
one of the first things is our attitude and how we look at life and how we look at ourselves. And I think one of the things I've developed over the many years and added on to and changed is a morning ritual. Mm-hmm. And I can tell when I get out of the morning ritual, and it can be short, it could be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, a little bit of stretching and movement. Mm-hmm. If you pray or if you meditate, a little bit of prayer or meditation, looking at, saying positive affirmations, and, that just a little bit of that 15 minutes really makes a difference in your whole day.
Mm-hmm. It does. It really does. Because it's bringing your awareness and intention and attention all in one place, right? So you're more,
Absolutely. And we're all on a journey,
yeah,
and we don't always have the best days.
no, but we can handle it much better if we're present, right?
Yeah.
So that's a great tip. In
Yeah, that's absolutely. And being present, and you can do that at the same time, you
the
know.
same time.
And I find that you can do two at once. Like you can take a walk and you do the meditation and prayer at the same
At the
time as
same
you're
time.
taking a walk.
Yeah, get that blood flowing early morning. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Are there other things that you know, if someone came to you and they're just starting their health journey, are there other things that you would suggest, some things that might be easy to do?
Something that may depends on where you're starting from. I always say drink water.
Yeah, yes.
But going a little bit deeper into it, it's so important to eat a wide variety of vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I would even say in my own family, people, so many people tend to just stick with three or four vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, not the lots and lots of servings. I mean, that's important, but that can be hard to jump into.
Yes.
So what I would say is just add 1 to 2 new, when you're doing your shopping list,
Mm-hmm.
think about adding 1 new vegetable
Mm-hmm.
that you haven't had in a while. I like to have vegetables that are in season. So if you go to a farmer's market, or if you have any delivered to you,
Mm-hmm.
that's a great way to like, hey, there's something new, something I've seen.
Yeah.
Or maybe something I've seen but not tried before. That's very good for your whole health because it's so good for your digestion
Yes.
to have a variety. And if you live in a place that doesn't have a lot of fresh vegetables and fruits year round, the quick frozen that just has
Mm-hmm.
the fruits and vegetables in the, and that's all they have is they've just been quick frozen. That's a good way to add to.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the fruits and vegetables, Robin. You know, we hear this so much, but we still have not figured out the full extent of how they help us. You know, the phytonutrients in them, it's not just the vitamins and minerals, right? There's all these colors and antioxidants and yes. And I know,
Exactly. And they do different things. They kind of talk to our body, which is very interesting. And people are starting to learn more like turmeric
yeah,
and different things. Well, that's just an example. That's one example.
yeah,
But if you could think of different colored things, the different colors bring in different compounds,
yes,
like the dark red grapes
yeah.
with that grape skin. They're bringing in some really good chemicals in there. I say chemicals with all the things. These are nutrients.
They're nutrients, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, you know, sometimes we don't even have names for them. They've just, you know, become under this big class phytonutrients. But I know that an apple alone has tens and thousands of these, right? Tens of thousands. So that's a lot. And also, you know, going back to my grandmother's story, she would always tell me when I asked her, you know, how come she was so healthy, she would always say to me that, you know, for every 1 orange I ate, you have to eat 15. It's like,
That's right. The
yeah,
nutrition has gone downhill
yeah,
after World War II in particular, they started using the chemical fertilizers
yes,
that had just the basic nitrogen, it just had the basics.
yeah,
But unfortunately, we need all those micronutrients too.
yeah, we do. And, you know, that actually brings me to my next question, Robin, because I consider you an expert when it comes to supplements. Would you suggest, you know, even with the best of diets, like we're trying to get in all these fruits and vegetables, but how do you feel about supplements? Would you suggest we take some?
I actually do. I think it's very important because I know I don't eat enough to get all the nutrients I need. And even if I'm eating a healthy diet, I'm just not eating the quantity needed now
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
get those the vitamins and the minerals, but also the phytonutrients in there.
Yeah.
So so I do take a supplement. I researched that, and I did choose USANA for a number of good reasons.
Yeah.
A lot of which they not only have the vitamins and minerals, but they also have phytonutrients in them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just have the right ratio, that right synergy.
Yeah, and I want to just talk about that for just a few seconds because synergy is so important. Isolating synthetic vitamins without the whole complex is probably not helping a whole lot. Trying to mimic what's in nature, high quality supplements will do that. They'll actually try to have the whole complex instead of just the ascorbic acid, just the synthetic vitamin C, it would be like the whole complex, right? And a lot of people don't know what to look for when they're actually purchasing supplements. And personally, I know that when clients come in to see me, they're very worried about the quality. So how can we sort of, know what we're consuming off the shelf?
Well, yeah, quality is very important, and there's a number of third-party sources, third-party laboratories that look at the quality of vitamins and mineral supplements out there. So that's one thing you can do is you can also check and see. Ask them if you're looking at a company, you can ask them if they have third-party certifications.
Yeah.
You can ask them, what do they do? Do they quantify? Do they measure all the raw ingredients to make sure they're the right strengths? Because some people don't do that. Some companies don't do that.
Yes, that's
They
right.
just assume that the box comes in and what it says it is on there, and especially these plant nutrients.
Yeah.
They're variable according to how they were grown. You need to adjust according to the actual strength of the compounds you're looking for.
Yeah, and so the third-party certification is important. And I know that consumer labs, they run reports on supplements all the time. And I know that on the label, sometimes there's the USP, NSF, there's third-party verification. So those who are watching and listening, if you're worried about the quality, just check your labels, ask, call, ask. Yeah, so it's just.
Yeah, find out what they do. And one of the things I like to do, find out where they're manufactured.
Yes.
Are they manufacturing it themselves?
Yeah.
Or are they sending it out to another manufacturer?
Yeah.
Because a lot of there's some plants out there that just manufacture lots of different companies, and they just slap on a different label.
Yeah, and that happened. I think that partially created some panic because in 2015, I think it was, the Attorney General, New York, I think they did some kind of an investigation and found out that half the supplements on the shelves didn't contain what they said they contained. So
oh my goodness.
That is what,
have you heard the term fairy dusting?
No.
Sometimes a supplement, they find out that one ingredient is great, the popular ingredient. And so they'll put it on their label, but then you look back at it and they don't say how much of there is in there.
Yeah. So I think it's really
important. They just thrown a little bit, tiny bit in there, but not at strength needed for efficacy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say, for supplements, just getting it from a trusted source or a trusted company is very important. So I'm glad you do what you do. And I know that's, your passion too, educating us about not just healthy living, but supplements as well, Robin. Yeah.
Well, I absolutely love what I do. The thing I love the most is when someone really feels better.
Yes.
And I do understand there's no magic bullet. There's no one thing in the world of wellness, but drinking water, eating right, eating plenty of vegetables, moving your body, and then taking a good supplement, those are going to take people a long way towards wellness.
It surprises me that how well we can do with some simple changes that we can make. Sometimes the answer is like right under your nose, right? When I think about it, like a lot of chronic symptoms can be caused by nutritional deficiencies. I know that, and so instead of popping a million pills, which is, I appreciate that we have that, when we need that, but sometimes, just investigating and digging deep and just figuring out, are we getting all the nutrients that we need?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. And it's like an insurance.
Yeah.
That you do like every day, the nutrients you need. It really helps your body function the right way.
It does. And Robin, I really appreciate you coming on here and talking to us, and just, if we have any more questions of you, and if we're wanting to learn more about supplements, I'm going to include all of your contact information with these notes. So, you can help us if we have more questions. But is there anything that you want to leave us with in terms of, something that to challenge us for this week as we go about thinking how we can, take that next step to help ourselves? I know we talked a lot about different things, but what's your one favorite thing?
I think the one thing, it's hard to pick up one thing, but I think in particular that morning ritual, find something that works for you in the morning that lifts your mood, gets you excited about the day, lifts your energy. That is going to make a huge difference. Then you're going to have the energy to exercise a little bit, and if you're starting small, that's fine.
Yeah.
A walk is good.
Yeah.
Or the energy to cook a nice meal, a healthy meal. Because I know that when we get down on ourselves, that's when, you get takeout food, you do the easy stuff.
Yeah.
But if you can start the day with 15 minutes, 15 minutes,
Yeah.
focusing on yourself and your mood and your energy, that'd be great.
That reminds me of, if you ever heard the saying, you spend money to make money, like in your business, you spend money to make money. This is the same thing. You spend that time and energy so you can make more time and energy, right? Yeah. So that's
absolutely, it's going to change your life.
Yeah.
It absolutely is, because then you'll, once you've accepted that you love yourself and, be there for yourself, you'll realize that then you can give to others so much better.
So much. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, Robin. I always love talking to you, so this was my excuse to do it, right?
It's always fun to talk to you.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.